Today, I want to talk about something that Stephen Jones said that is absolute insanity and one of the main reasons why the Cowboys are always going to have a hard time winning as long as him and Jerry are the general managers of this team. Let's talk Cowboys. Welcome, Cowboy fans and Cowboy haters. My name is the G. I love to talk Cowboys. Let's talk Cowboys. We're going to talk facts. So, Stephen Jones says something that is insanity. I'm starting to wonder if Stephen Jones is getting like Jerry Jones. While Jerry says some things that absolutely don't make sense at times, Stephen Jones, who has not been like that as much, but he don't make sense, one, when it comes to money and how he views players that make money. And I think Stephen Jones has been one of the main problems for the Cowboys from this perspective. They created the blueprint, if you ask me, or perfected the blueprint of how to win Super Bowls. In the 90s, if anyone paid attention, the Cowboys really took off after they made the Herschel Walker trade. And they kept bringing in superstar player after superstar player after superstar player. And what Stephen Jones said is telling me and should be telling us everything we need to know of why the Cowboys have not been back to the Super Bowl in almost 30 years. I want you to see what I want you to see what Stephen Jones said. The Bleacher Report is reporting. I even heard Nick Wright talking about it. And this is absolutely insane. It says here, Stephen Jones says, CeeDee Lamb needs to be targeted 12 to 15 times per game. Let's read what this says, and it's insanity when you think about it. Dallas Cowboys COO and co-owner Stephen Jones wants wide receiver CeeDee Lamb to get 12 to 15 passes per game. And listen to his logic, reported by John Epstein. He's going to touch the ball a ton. For what we're going to pay him, he better, Jones told Yahoo Sports' John Epstein. I told Cowboys head coach Mike McCarthy, things can't change. He's got to be targeted 12 to 15 times a game. You got to hand it to him a couple of more times. So I don't see that changing in the least bit. He's our number one go-to guy. And this is why. The Cowboys are not going to win. They're going to tease you with winning because they got good to great players. They have great players. It always makes me laugh when, like, you think about the Cowboys. I think they have 4 to 5 players in the top 100 players. But what people don't talk about is the players they have around those players. And they don't talk about the coaching decisions around those players. They don't talk about what comes from upstairs to the coaches that then those players have to do and endure. They don't talk about the insane amount of pressure that not only do the players of the Dallas Cowboys face from their opponents, but the expectations from their fans that comes from things that the ownership says and does. And this is literally insane to say that CeeDee Lamb needs to be targeted 12 to 15 times. So if I'm an opposing team, guess what my game plan is when I play the Dallas Cowboys? I'm thinking about when we all witnessed one of the biggest heartbreaks of many of our Cowboy fandom. Last year, and let me look at the exact score. Last year, the Dallas Cowboys was rolling. At least it looked like they were on a roll. But I'm going to tell you something. We're going to talk facts. The Cowboys were actually not on the roll that people thought they were. In actuality, what happens is in the regular season, you go up against teams that may not match up well with what you do. The Cowboys can score points. CeeDee Lamb is an absolute monster. They were undersized on defense, but they were fast, they were opportunistic, they could get turnovers. But as injuries began to set in, and as they went down the stretch, as they got to tougher teams, the game plan tightens in the playoffs. And by the time teams have a 17 game, you have a 17 game window. That's who you are after 17 weeks. People know who you are. They know what your tendencies are. They know what your weaknesses are. And the Green Bay Packers did something that I thought that teams should have done to the Cowboys earlier. Now, sometimes teams don't have the personnel to do it. But in the playoffs, most teams will have the personnel to be able to stop some basic things. That's why they're in the playoffs. They beat the teams that didn't have the personnel. And the Packers did the very thing that I thought every team should have already been doing. You know how you stop the Dallas Cowboys? Dak Prescott, I don't care what anyone says, Dak Prescott's a beast. But Dak Prescott, if you give him one weapon, so you're telling me in order to stop Dak Prescott, all I have to do is stop CeeDee Lamb? Well, why wouldn't my game plan to be on offense stop CeeDee Lamb? Number two, the Cowboys can score. So if I stop CeeDee Lamb, I stop you from scoring. And I'm going to make Dak go to his second and third options, which we talk about CeeDee Lamb was top 5. His second options were not even in the top 100. So I've already handicapped him there. So now I'm going to put him in a situation that I'm going to make him beat us by making flawless throws to receivers who are not flawless. And so if I can put them in a situation to where he has to play mistake-free football, I'm also going to put him in a chokehold because on defense, he's undersized. His defense is undersized. We're going to put Micah Parsons in situations to where he can't pass rush. We're going to run them off the field because they're undersized at the linebacker core. They're undersized up the middle. They're playing safeties at linebacker. We're going to put them on their heels. And immediately, we're going to put them in a situation where they're playing from behind rather than ahead. Because we all know if the Cowboys get ahead, forget it. You might as well turn out the lights. The Packers beat that game plan. And if the Packers didn't beat that game plan, someone else was going to beat that game plan. If you're telling me that because CeeDee Lamb is going to get paid, he has to get 12 to 15 targets? Hold on a second. I did the math on this earlier, but I want you to see how insane what he said is. So if you multiply just 12 targets, 17 times 12 is 204 targets. CeeDee Lamb, can I talk to you for a moment? Yeah, CeeDee Lamb, can I talk to you for a moment? You will be worth absolutely nothing by the time the Dallas Cowboys are done with you. Stephen Jones is basically saying, we're going to get our money's worth out of you. Do y'all know what would make CeeDee Lamb better? Go out and get a running game. And don't tell me about your rebuilding your offensive line. Don't tell me all these crazy things that you're doing, because I'm going to tell you that those things are going to work against the not so good teams. But when you go into the playoffs is where the real teams are. The playoffs are where the teams are who can stop basic running teams. They can stop a quarterback who only has one receiver. Because if I'm playing CeeDee Lamb, I'm not even putting my best receiver on CeeDee Lamb. I'm going to put two. I'm going to bracket him. I'm going to cover him underneath, and I'm going to cover him over the top. And I'm going to reserve my best corners, my best cover guys. I'm going to put them on all your other guys. What are you going to do? And if I'm going to cripple Dak Prescott, we won't see. Jerry Jones and Steven have the same mentality with Dak Prescott. They're saying that if we're paying Dak Prescott this kind of money, then he should be able to overcome our shortcomings. If we don't give him a running game, so what? If he only got one wide receiver, so what? If he doesn't have a defense that will allow him to make a couple of mistakes, so what? We're paying him all this money, so he needs to make up for whatever shortcomings we have, whatever mistakes that are made on offense, whatever mistakes that are made on defense, he needs to make it up. Do we not realize how insane it is what Stephen Jones said? It is literally insane. I mean, he's basically saying that what CeeDee Lamb did last year, and let me see if I can find, I think I pulled it up. If we think about what CeeDee Lamb did last year, it was insanity. CeeDee Lamb in 2023, look at this. 135 receptions. 135 receptions? 1,749 yards? So if he gets targeted 15 times a game, if he even catches 10 of those, that's 170 receptions. Are we losing our minds? Are we losing our ever-loving minds, Stephen Jones? This is crazy. And why would you be coming out saying this? You are putting a target on the back of CeeDee Lamb. You're putting a target on his back. You are telling teams how to beat your team. You're telling teams how to handicap your quarterback. I'm laughing at people talking about the Dallas offense is nothing without CeeDee Lamb. Well, some of that may be true, but that's the exact situation you don't want to be in. People should be praying and hoping. Dallas Cowboy fans, you need to be praying. We need to be praying and hoping that Jalen Tolbert was what people saying he is in training camp. Jalen Tolbert and Dak Prescott, everybody's talking about the connection they have, the breakout. But if Jalen Tolbert does not have a breakout season and CeeDee Lamb does have to get 15 targets, I'm going to say it first. Let's speak facts. CeeDee Lamb won't last half a season. CeeDee Lamb's not going to last half a season. CeeDee Lamb will be so beaten up by game 10, he won't be worth nothing going into the playoffs. If the Cowboys don't get another viable option, did you see what Stephen Jones said? Hand it to him a couple of more times. Why would I want my star receiver to be touching the ball 20 times? I mean, How many plays do you get on offense? What's the average? What, 60, 70? And you're saying he's going to touch the ball a quarter of those? And if you don't get 70, you don't get 60, what if you get 50 plays? You want him to touch the ball half those plays? It's literal insanity. CeeDee Lamb's not going to last the season. And if CeeDee Lamb is not careful, CeeDee Lamb, after he better hit the lottery with this contract. He better hit the lottery, and he is. He better hit the lottery, because he won't be worth nothing for anybody else on a second contract. He won't be worth nothing. And Dak Prescott, I'm going to do another video on Dak Prescott. If I'm Dak Prescott, I don't know if I'm signing another deal with this team. I'm going to go in depth in that. But I don't know if I'm signing another deal with this team. Because why are you doing... Somebody's got to tell me. Stephen Jones said with what we're going to pay him. So how dumb is it? They're talking all this leaves fall in and gobbledygook about who knows what they're talking about. Why would you wait until Justin Jefferson signs his deal? Why did you wait? Why are you waiting on other teams to sign their receivers so you can wait until the wide receiver market top out? Why are you doing that? Why would you not pay before anybody got paid? You're saying you don't want to set the market. Why not set the market? Set the market so someone who's in another contract year, they don't go above what the market is currently at. This mentality is why the Cowboys are not going to win. CeeDee Lamb is being set up for failure. He's not in training camp. Training camp is not the same thing as CeeDee out here running around on the field. He's great, but that's not the same. He needs to be in there still, keeping that connection with Dak Prescott, getting that connection with the wide receiver room, leading that wide receiver room, getting that chemistry out there on the field. We know he's not going to play preseason games, but practice matters. CeeDee Lamb will be playing catch up for at least 3 to 4 weeks. 3 to 4 weeks. And yeah, he might take off like they did last year, but you know what? Dallas's first 5 games are going to be pivotal. I'm going to make a video about that. CeeDee Lamb not being totally ready and warmed up for the first 5 games are going to be pivotal for the Cowboys. And if Jalen Tolbert isn't what people are saying that he is, Cowboys are going to struggle. They're going to struggle. And I'm telling you, Stephen Jones, this is the very reason. Stephen Jones and Jerry Jones, I love Jerry Jones as some of the things he's done, but him and Stephen are terrible GMs. They're terrible GMs. They need to remove themselves. They need to step back, get a real GM. Get a real GM and give them a voice. And let the coaches coach. Let them make the decisions. Stephen don't need to be saying in the press, as it applies to Schottenheimer, and even Schottenheimer, he's not going to bite the hand that feeds him. Even Schottenheimer is chiming in, saying, let me see here, I may not have time to pull it up, but even Schottenheimer is chiming in, talking about, yes, he's our top guy, and that's how it should be. Stop it. This is literal insanity. That is not what we should be saying. We should be saying that CeeDee Lamb is our top receiver, and what we need to be doing. Brian Schottenheimer, look at this. When asked about these comments, he provided this response. He says, "We should and we will," Schottenheimer told Epstein. CeeDee is one of the few receivers where even when people know he's getting the ball, he's got ability to get open. Talk to me about the Packers game, Schottenheimer. Talk to me. People can blame Dak Prescott all they want to, but CeeDee Lamb was made ineffective. And it wasn't because CeeDee Lamb isn't talented, and it's not because he wasn't a number one. He was made ineffective because they put men on him. They were in his face. They knew the routes. They studied. They put their hands on him. They jammed him. They frustrated him. And by the time it got 14 points up, CeeDee checked out. CeeDee checked out. Doesn't mean he didn't catch ball, but he checked out because they showed CeeDee, we're going to show you what it really looked like. We're going to show you what it really looked like when people don't let you do this. We're going to show you what it looked like. We come to play you today. We're not going to just let you and Dak Prescott come out here and connect 12 times the game. We're not going to let you come out here and connect for $170, 2 or 3 touchdowns. No, we're going to contest you, CeeDee Lamb, on every play because we know there's no alternative on the other side. Shame on you, Schottenheimer. But Schottenheimer, why does he say this? Because Stephen Jones and Jerry Jones, they want to be the GM. They want to be the coach. They want everything to begin to stop with them. I'm telling you, the Dallas Cowboys players, they're not only playing the opponents, they're playing the fans' expectations. They're playing their own. They're playing their own staff. They are literally playing against their ownership. They are. Most teams don't do that. They're not playing against their ownership. They're not playing against comments that their owner is making. The team is only going to go as far as Dak take us. Dak take us? What? Do we not know that Patrick Mahomes won his 2nd Super Bowl in a row because his team stepped up in unbelievable ways? Say what you want to say. Pacheco was unbelievable. The defense, even after he threw an interception in the Super Bowl, they were unbelievable. But when we got quote unquote GMs making these statements, Schottenheimer saying this, McCarthy, lame duck coach per se, he's on the last year of his deal with the pressure to win. I'm telling you, we put so much undue pressure on our team. If I'm CeeDee Lamb, I wish you would tell me I'm going to get the ball 20 times. Now that you're paying me whatever you're going to pay me, $30+ million, man, you can take that. I'll go somewhere else. You're not going to run me in the ground. You're not going to say, now it's all on you. No. I get my star players to be stars. I get my star players. Hey, you're my star player, but I'm going to put something around you because I'm going to let you shine even more. Dak Prescott, I'm going to go out and get you Derrick Henry. CeeDee Lamb, I'm going to get you Derrick Henry. We can go with Jalen Tolbert. You give us Derrick Henry. We can go with Jalen Tolbert and CeeDee Lamb. You get us a running game. Dak Prescott, this is what I'm going to do for you. This is not what the Cowboys are doing. Not what the Cowboys are doing. This video has went on way too long. But I'm telling you, this mentality is the reason why Cowboys are going to continue to lose. Until the next video, let's talk Cowboys.